Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to today's live at the Waterhole show. Ooh, starting with a huge group of zebras here at Moella Safari Lodge. Today is Sunday, the 19th of October. It's 11 o'clock here in sunny South Africa. And my name is Kelly, and I'm going to be with you for the next couple of hours, cruising around our fabulous cameras dotted in multiple different locations to see who we've got joining us on a Sunday. Thank you all for joining us this Sunday. You're all very, very welcome. I'm glad you could all be here. Please do remember we are completely live and interactive today. I would love to hear from anyone that's out there. Please share your thoughts, send through your questions. We will get through as many as we possibly can. I faithfully promise that if I do not know the answer, I will set myself up for some homework. So you're welcome to get in touch either via WhatsApp on X at Wild Earth, Facebook Live on Facebook, Wild Earth Live, Instagram, or on our YouTube channel. We love to hear from everyone that's out there. I always say this is a discussion and not a lecture. I am far from having all the answers, and I really enjoy this time we spend. Get me set up for some homework, some critical thinking, and I will share my rambling thought processes with you all, should you wish to listen. These zebra are very much still waiting for the rains. We had a stunning storm here day before yesterday, Thursday, I think. Hoedspruit got something like 30 millimeters very, very quickly. So it's coming. And I bet these zebras have their hooves crossed for the same. Erica, thank you very much for being here. You're saying waterhole time. Your favourite time. Yours and mine both, Erica. Lovely way to spend a couple of hours. Hannah, you're saying these zebra live right at this waterhole. They're always here. They need to at the moment. I'm pretty sure this is the... Oh, incoming! I'm fairly sure this is probably one of the only reliable water sources around this area at the moment, Hannah. And I keep threatening to try and identify individuals and see if these are indeed all exactly the same zebra. But it's not easy unless you've got someone with a very floppy ear, or we don't. It's quite tough identifying some of the antelopes across here at Camelthorne Farmstead. We've got some. Oh, and we're over here. I'm not entirely sure where this is. Just having a couple of, I think, is this Jackie's? I think this might be Jackie's. Could be. It is Jackie's. Yep. And we're just going to restart a couple of the feeds there. But we've got some guinea fowl. Guinea fowl are frequently overlooked, in my opinion. Very, very pretty birds. My favourite bird is the crested guinea fowl. These guys are the helmeted guinea fowl. I remember these were one of the first birds I ever saw when I first came to Africa many, many, many years ago now. And they always look to me like they've been squashed from the sides. I feel like they should be rounder. Let's go back across to Camelthorne. You see that guinea fowl looks like it's been squashed from the side a little bit to me. And we'll go back across to Camelthorne. I think we had some elephants across there. Yes, we do. A little bit of hustle and bustle going on. Lots of these. I've noticed elephants are very possessive of water sometimes, especially when it's scarce like this. Elephants will chase all sorts of things away from their water. But they will often share nicely. Lawrence, you are asking, what do you call a zebra call? Sounds like a joke. Or is it a joke? A kwee, or is I'm not sure if this is a joke. I missed a joke publicly and really badly the other day about the naming of crows, so I'm tentative now. A kwee, I would call it I'd probably call it a zebra call. Oh, more incoming elephants. A kwee, I've never even thought about that, Lawrence. A kwee. Oh, that was a beautiful impression someone just did in my ear of a kwe in my ear. I've never ever considered that question in my whole life. But maybe we should start a movement. Maybe we should start saying, oh, I can hear those zebra kwe-kwing. I think that's a brilliant way of looking at it. No, I've never that thought has never even crossed my mind. I suppose you've got an elephant trumpet, but I don't think I would say, oh, I can hear those elephant trumpeting. I think I would just say I can hear those elephants. Otherwise you'd have to start naming all the I can hear those elephants rumbling, I can hear those elephants trumpeting. I'm just trying to think of. I'd also say, I heard those lions calling. I don't think I'd say I'd hear those lions roaring. Vocalising, probably. The zebra were vocalising. Yeah, one of those two. But I'm happy to start a movement to call them kwe from now on. There you go. Thanks very much for your demonstration, Mr. or Mrs. Zebra. You can see the edge of this is quite eroded here where this water's coming in. And elephants are known for accessing water however they need to. Sometimes they will drag up water pipes or knock inlets over, like taps, things like that. They can really. This one's going to have a nice dust bathe now, just here by the water. There's some fine looking dust there. I found that elephants often have a preferred dust, and they will. I've seen normally they will go for a drink and then they will splash mud on them and then they move on to the dusting part, and they will almost walk to a specific dusty bit. And they will use dust from there, and they will kick that dust with their feet or kick the ground, kick the soil to create that lovely fine dust. Oh, Lawrence, that is a very good point. Not to be confused with the go-away bird, kwe. So we've got zebras, kwe, and the grey go-away bird, kwe. I'm just trying to think who else might make a similar type sound. Big thinking from Lawrence doing various animal impressions from wherever you may be in the world. I hope you're doing them with us, Lawrence, and not just making me do them without you. We're definitely hearing many of the migratory birds are back now, and lots of the birds are getting very, very vocal. Certainly where I am. It makes me laugh. We often know bird sounds, but sometimes this time of year they get extremely enthusiastic. And there was a very enthusiastic blackback puffback calling earlier, very determined to make his voice heard. But it is that time of year. The birds are claiming territories. And they have to be heard above the others because that's how they get the girlies. Nice how these elephants. They will sometimes chase each other away from water, but they will often, I know we've spent a lot of time at El Doño watching those big guys just peacefully standing, waiting their turn. I'm just having a flick through fabulous encyclopedia I've got, and I've just opened it at not really read it well. Bulls. Australian bull ants can jump by pressing their mandibles on the ground and forcefully opening them. The insect world and arthropod world is absolutely fascinating. There really is so much. Oops, I'm sorry, I just knocked that microphone, moving my book. There is so much out there, big and small, that we can observe. Look how that elephant's resting his foot there. Looks like they've all had a good time in the mud here. A little bit of dusting still going on. But yeah, many of these animals are very ready now for some rain. I always enjoy this time of year. It's so dry, but you just get a little sprinkling of rain, and everything just starts to pop. All
Let's go and take a look. See you out there.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
And that's it for this morning's drive. She's just got her Impala, everybody. And we're going to be heading out and seeing what animals we can find.
Out here, every moment counts. As a Wild Earth explorer, you won't miss a thing. Watch the Wild Earth channel ad-free 24/7 and rewind if you want to catch something again. Enjoy behind-the-scenes videos, fireside chats, and early access to travel offers. It's the best way to stay connected and be part of the Wild Earth family.
Plants can cause terrible erosion and ultimately decimate an area. You do actually often see it around waterholes. Could also play a factor. Be interesting to have a look at some of the other cameras. Actually, we do. We've got quite a few cameras on pans or water points without too much vegetation, and we could probably compare them to some of the other pans where we've still got good tree coverage, and have a look in the difference of topography in those areas. We're going to leave these fairly relaxed looking elephants and head across to El Doño and see who we've got up there today. Had some lovely views of Kilimanjaro in the last, was it earlier this week, end of last week? That was the first time I've ever seen that before. Very, very nice views up at El Doño. Oh wow, it's Zebra Sunday. See, look at them all standing in there. It is incredible how animals, the water that animals are able to utilise. But the silt and oh, have we got, I was waiting for an elephant to turn up then, everyone was moving out the way. The silt and mud that must get kicked up with all those animals standing in it must reduce the quality of the water that's available for them to drink. Looks like I can just see the horns of looks like an oryx at the back there trying to get a look in. That sounded like a quick to me. Lots of pushing and shoving here with these zebra, but yeah, I suppose it would be quite difficult to implement an orderly queue. Let's head across to Jackie's. I would love to see if our guinea fowl is still across there. Oh, wow, okay, we've swapped the guinea fowl for a lovely big male waterbuck. We watched a fascinating interaction between two male waterbuck at Tau last time I was here. Some lovely body language and communication, and I would love, if we go back to Tau, I would love to see how many male waterbuck are currently present. I think I might know the answer. I don't think it's going to be 2, but I could be wrong. Alex, you are asking, are elephants the most managed animals? It depends, Alex. It depends where, what you classify as management. Conservation is a vast topic, Alex, and ultimately any animals that are that have had any human intervention ever are probably going to need to be managed. So it would depend, I think. It's a tough one to answer. And some might say elephants would, because of their size, might be responsible for more impact on pushing over trees. But then you look at some of the predators, they can have huge impacts on herbivores. Even some of then you think about some of the birds in Quilias spring to mind, they can do huge damage to farmland. That's a wide question, Alex, and I don't really know what would be the correct answer on that one. Isla F, thank you very much for your question. You are asking, do you get different kinds of waterbuck? I'm aware of two different kinds of waterbuck, Isla F. This oaky chilling here, I believe, is an ellipsan waterbuck, if he's at Jackie's. So they're subspecies, I believe, separated by geography. The other waterbuck that I'm aware of is the Dufasa waterbuck. And I saw Dufasa waterbuck in Rwanda. I'm not entirely sure exactly what their distribution is. We have got a couple of cameras. I have seen that Dufasa waterbuck, and the differentiations are geography and a different white marking on their behind. But it wouldn't surprise me now, Isla F, if there are other subspecies or classifications of waterbuck. Taxonomy is a minefield, and I struggle to keep up with it at the moment. So I'm sure I could have a quick dig around in the ether and check. But I'm aware of two. So the answer is there's at least two, is what I will say. You often find these nice big male waterbuck. They will claim a territory, they will claim an area. that looked really funny, his horns sort of merged. There's a little black flycatcher at my window. Let's go back across to Aldonio. I was just looking at this bird out my window, and I'm fairly sure that's a black flycatcher, but we saw a black cuckoo shrike the other day, which was very, very exciting. I'm not sure if black cuckoo shrikes are found up at Aldonio. I do have my bird Bible with me, should we need to check something. These zebras are making a terrible mess in this pan. I often see in zebra life, though, there is much pushing and shoving occurs regularly, and they can actually be they can be quite they can show quite what some might say aggressive behaviour towards one another. But surprisingly, we often see zebras with bits of tail missing. People often assume that it's a predator or something has bitten a tail off, but that can also be other zebra. But I'm surprised with the amount of kicks and bites that are thrown at each other. Hello, Zeb, having a look at the camera. The amount of kicks and bites that are thrown at each other, that we don't often see more zebra with serious injuries. But I always say every time I'm here, animals don't really normally want to actually damage each other. They just want their space, or their girls, or their food, or whatever it is that there's a little bit of pushing and shoving going on over. And if they can do it, if they can avoid injuring each other, then everybody wins, really. You start picking up injuries in the wild, it could spell absolute disaster. The example I normally use is male lions. I've often seen them chasing each other if
We'll see you out on the safari.
It could be a very exciting morning.
The Wild Earth Impact Foundation is a non-profit that uses the power of wildlife storytelling as a force for good. We create sustainable development projects that showcase conservation stories, empower people, and inspire environmental action. As a registered South African PBO, you can make a tax-deductible donation to the Wild Earth Impact Foundation. To find out more, visit our website.
My full name is Maxine Gaines. Most people that know me really well call me Max. I'm a mum. I have 2 boys. One is 16 years old and one is 14 years old. I'm a very, very proud mama of my 2 boys. I've just always been passionate about leopards. I'm passionate about their conservation. I'm just passionate about everything to do with leopards. I love them.
Morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Wow, that's amazing, everybody.
I'm not sure. I haven't seen elephants here for a couple of times, I don't think. I wonder if there's been some rain somewhere else and they might have changed their watering spots, or maybe... Well, that's the only thing I can think of, really, is maybe there's more food somewhere else, or there's now different water availability, or now maybe herds, the breeding herds are starting to move differently, and they're following those herds to look for reproductive opportunities. I find it fascinating watching how behaviours and things change over time through the course of the seasons. Oryx is patiently waiting, but I'm sure they're going to also nudge their way in there. This ebb and flow of animals coming and going at this pan is so constant. I seem to recall you get different times of year some amazing numbers of butterflies here as well. Look at those zebra tails flicking, keeping flies off their behinds. those giraffes, they've had enough. They're going down for a drink. Let's go across to Nguma. I'm actually surprised this pan here at Aldonio hasn't expanded with all these animals that keep coming to drink here. I'm not sure if it's a concrete base there. Wow, that is a large elephant making his way in here. This is a big boy. I didn't do vast amounts of reading, but it does seem that there has been suggestions of desert or Etosha elephants have been recorded with less substantial tusks, possibly because of lack of nutrients in the soil. It would also be... Oh, look, he's having a sniff there. So there's something around there, boy. And there's the genetics that are in play, but it would make complete sense. I noticed the other day there were some Etosha bulls with a couple of quite badly broken tusks. This is a lovely big old male. Check how that cartilage in his ears is looking quite soft. Those ears look very soft around the edges. You often see that in older elephants. If there is anyone already at this pan, I'm sure they will be making space. Toot sweet, post haste for this big guy. Interested to watch his movement, how this elephant moves quite well. They walk quite quickly, but I don't see a swagger, what I would call a swagger, to this bull. What's that? Is that bird there? See, I'm such a geek. There's a huge elephant bull and I'm trying to work out, is that a Goliath heron or a black-headed heron? No, it's a black-headed heron, I think. Oh, I'm not sure. I'm just checking the distribution. That doesn't look right to me for a black-headed heron. I don't know, maybe it is. I don't know, I'm not totally convinced what heron that is there. I'm gonna have a quick check on my bird bowl, but look at this beautiful big bull having a drink. Oh, he is enormous. Look how thick that trunk is between those tusks. I'm also surprised we don't see more mud hitting cameras. Thank you for zooming in there. Oh, maybe that is a black-headed heron. I'm just going to take a picture quickly. It looks really dark to me. Oh, it's caught a fish. That was nice to see. I'm still... anyone is welcome to help me. I want to say black-headed heron, but there's something just looks a bit off about it. Let me check and see if there's any other options. It is much too big to be any of the egrets. Yeah, he must have been a black-headed heron. This seems a bit odd. Oh yeah, look, there's that white patch on his shoulder as well. Okay, stand down. Sorry if you can hear me flicking through my book, that's exactly what I'm doing. Anyway, I'm going to stop focusing on that black-headed heron now and appreciate the insane dexterity that this elephant is coating every crack and crevice on his body with that mud. Behind the ears, oh, beautiful work. Tracy, you're saying you love watching Ellie's walk towards the waterhole looking all excited. He was very, very sedate, meandering his way there. But it is, especially the young ones, I find they get sort of 100, 150 metres, then everyone gets quite excited. I agree, Tracy, it's great fun. And it always reminds me when I see, especially elephants walking towards a waterhole like that, how far they might have walked to get there, and a good reminder of why we don't stop and get out for drinks or cause too much of a disturbance around this water. We have no idea how far these animals have come to get this cooling, soothing bath of mud and a nice drink. Andy, you are asking, why are elephants so territorial, even towards other animals? I wouldn't call it territorial. Territorial is more sort of breeding rights, area defence. So I would say elephants are more... I was going to use the word selfish, but that's not very nice. I don't think I like that word either. Because I reckon, Andy, because they can. That's what I'm going to go with. If an elephant chases pretty much anything, they are going to move. So I would say maybe it's got something to do with the fact that they don't have to put too much effort into making anything else move.
Every week, the wilderness delivers.
And that's why we're here.
Drama, chaos, crimes, humour. All moments you'll never forget. We've counted them down, argued about them, and finally picked the very best. From rare sightings to classic bush showdowns, this is nature's weekly highlight reel. Sharp facts, bad jokes, and the wildest top 5 you'll see this side of the savannah. It's not just a show, it's a wild bush week.
Safari, wine, and waterfalls. The ultimate African adventure. Sip South Africa's finest wines. Experience a world-class safari among Africa's iconic wildlife. And stand in front of Victoria Falls, one of the natural wonders of the world. All this can be yours with Wild Earth Travel, where Africa comes alive.
A lot. I'm unsurprised that he's resting it there on his tusks. I didn't quite catch there where we are going to go, but we are going to leave this boy and head across to somewhere else to see what's happening. But yeah, that is a very large elephant. That's one of the bigger elephants I've seen for a while. Oh, lovely. Finch, I haven't seen this camera before. Finch Hattons. Wow. Ah, look at those little ones playing. I don't feel like I've been to this camera before. How exciting. First time for everyone. So Finch Hattons, hey? Lovely views of some baboons. Look at that little one that was playing with a, looks like a palm leaf or something. Looks like he's playing a guitar. Much chasing going on here. Okay, so I think this is in Kenya. This is so nice. Look at this play going on with these baboons. They're wrestling. I don't know what that fluttery thing is on the left. Could be a moth, could be a bird. But how nice is this? Even that adult playing with that little one, that's play. See, I could watch this all day. I could spend a long time watching this, trying to work out what the interactions are, if there's a hierarchy. That one wants the palm leaf. Give me that palm leaf. It's mine. I could watch this for a very long time. So people often say that animals only play to, practice for later years or later life. Later years or later life, but I don't do that. I personally disagree. I do think there's an element of joy in there as well. Jack Panksepp discusses the systems, the emotional systems in the brain, heavily studied in humans, and believed to cross across to animals. Affective neuroscience, so affective emotional. So the study of emotional neuroscience is absolutely fascinating, and one of those systems in the brain is the play system, and we often use the activation of that system to help adjust emotional responses in dogs, if we're working with dogs with behaviour concerns, because it's very difficult if that play system is activated to also feel fearful or rage. It's almost a cross. One switches on, one switches off again. And these baboons are fully activated in their play system, I think. That was lovely watching those bigger baboons interact with the smaller ones, though. One of them sort of ducked and hid behind that rock. So it's not even just playing with peers of the same age. This is how bonds are formed. This is how relationships are developed. Bonds are formed between family groups. Love watching this. Joanne Mello, you're saying you just love baboons. I also really enjoy them. Joanne Mello, I could watch them for a very long time. Oh, and I'm having feedback that apparently it was a young grey heron that was on the screen earlier. Okay, I concur. I wasn't too sure, so I'm happy to take advice. There was something that looked a little bit off for both types of heron to me, but that would potentially make sense. Thank you very much. Look at these guys wrestling, and it's got him pinned. 1, 2, 3. I just maybe showed my distant history around watching wrestling. I like watching baboons think. Is there anything good to eat in there? No, not sure. And they will sort of sift through things. They pick things up and look at them, and sometimes they sniff it and they go, oh no, and they put it down, sniff whatever they've found, decide whether or not they're going to eat it. We have got so many cameras now. To be honest, I'm not even sure how many there are. Maybe Ashley can help me. It's incredible that we've got so many live views going from so many different locations now. I think the last time I asked anyone, there was like 36 or something, and I'm not even sure what we're up to now. Very, very lucky to... What? Oh, there's something in the background there. Is that a water buck? Yes, it looks like there's water buck through at the back there as well. Lovely vegetation around this pan. Wow, 45 cameras now, somewhere around there. And I must have last checked maybe 6 or 8 months ago, and there was somewhere around 36. That is amazing. What an incredible opportunity to observe wildlife without disturbing it in any way, shape or form. Absolutely glorious. This is a big pan, actually. We're seeing lots of these very water-dependent animals in the pans this time of year, feeding on whatever they can find. I'm not sure what that was. Something just flew over. I'm just going to have another look at this young grey heron.
Full name is Maxine Gaines. Best part of the job, gosh, I just love everything about guiding. I love being able to observe animal behavior and animals behaving naturally. So for me, that's by far the best part of the job. And so what we do here at Wild Earth is develop those connections with the people that are viewing, and maybe just light a little spark that says, you know what, I want to be involved in protecting this ecosystem.
Ria, you say the best kind of roadblock? Absolutely. Look at this.
Hello, girls.
If you love watching Wild Earth, here's a little tip. Become a member. You can gain access to the channel ad-free, you can rewind and re-watch sightings, and you can join our Tuesday live safaris. There's also behind the scenes videos, fireside chats, and every Safari Live episode, whenever you want it. It's just a better way to stay connected to nature.
I don't know if anyone can hear that, but that's my enthusiastic puffback that was calling this morning. Lots of the birds are not only making their standard calls this time of year. I'm sure it was here we saw a marabou almost sitting on some grasses at the base of that log there. Something is flapping around. What's scuffling? I'm interested as to what's scuffling. Something's making a scuffling sound on this camera. It almost sounds like flapping water, but I don't think there's any water right next to this camera. That almost sounds like something flapping around in a little puddle or something, but maybe not. Let's head across to Serengeti, see what we've got happening there. Sarah's 50, you're saying that's a very interesting looking bird. Marabou storks, absolutely. And also that very dark juvenile grey heron. I do see the juveniles. I found a picture of a couple of juveniles in a nest and they were quite dark. Oh, look at this lovely scene. Lovely light on this pan. We were talking about elephants being possessive of things earlier. Let's see if these elephants are going to chase these zebra or leave them be. I think the zebra are weighing up their chances. Oh, I think there's zebra a bust. Is he gonna chase them? Yeah, okay. No drinks for you right now, zebra. Yeah. Flap of the ears. Be on your way. So yeah, I would just say that's that sort of possessiveness over water rather than, to me, territorial means defending an area that belongs to them rather than just being a bit possessive. I can't believe there's up to 45 cameras now. I've still got my tiny little camera by my bird bath. And I take great joy from seeing who comes to visit the bird bath. Oh, the zebras are making a break for it. Well, this one is anyway. Is that a hammerkop there? Looks like there's a hammerkop also patrolling the shoreline here. These cameras sometimes almost give me a bit of FOMO because we're not sure what's happening behind. Fear of missing out. Lion Lloyd UK. Hello, Lion Lloyd UK. I'm glad you're enjoying these programs. It's incredible to be able to watch all these animals doing what they would normally be doing. You're ex-Zimbabwean and you love animals. You're a safari lodge manager and had all these beautiful animals on your doorstep. It's very special, Lion Lloyd UK. I agree. You say the guides are doing a wonderful job. I'm glad you're enjoying it. But there are so many cameras to choose from. If you ever need that little bit of peace, a little bit of quiet, you can hop onto the cameras anytime and check out who's been visiting. Let these zebra like, oh, we're in. Come on, let's skirt around the edge. Get a quick slurp in before those elephants come back and remove us. Oh, are they all going to line up nicely? That's quite a clear, defined edge to this pan here. Maybe they're going to give us that lovely, lovely zebra lineup. Every photographer's dream. Oh, okay. Apparently we might have an. Oh, are these other ones going to come in? If we've got that photographer's dream zebra lineup, then let's 100% go across. No, they got disturbed. Let's go across and see if we've got this. My favourite is if the reflections are nice and clear as well. I think we might have said on coral. Let's see if we've got our beautifully aligned zebra there. We're okay. As usual, the zebra lineup has ceased. Yeah, you've got to be quick to catch it. But no, my favourite is if the water is nice and still. Oh! Quick, zebras, get a drink in. But no, thank you for joining us, Lion Lloyd UK. You are always welcome to pop in and get your Africa fixes anytime. I'm sure that's a hammerkop stood there at the back. Hammerkops, funny looking birds. Hammerkop, hammerhead, and they do look like they have got quite a flat top to their heads, known for making those huge nests, often utilised by other animals, other birds. Sometimes you'll find owls or eagles nesting on the top of hammerkop nests, often positioned in the fork of a tree not too far from water. Developed and grown over time. I'm glad our zebras got in here for a little drink before they got removed by the elephants, but let's go across to Rosie's pad and see who we have got across there at Rosie's. We've got a very peaceful looking, quite scarred looking hippo up there in Balule, not too far from here at all. I've been sympathising with the hippos of late, especially that hippo that we've been seeing, or that we were seeing at Serendella, repeatedly ejected from his pan. Shame, poor boy. But you see all the scratches and scrapes on this hippo. You often see this with territorial bulls. So bulls that have claimed their spot somewhere, with frequent interactions with other bulls, needing to keep their turf safe. Hippos are extremely territorial, especially in the water. That spot of water is very much theirs, often with a group of females or youngsters. And then the further away from that water point you get, the less territorial they become. So they would possibly be more likely to tolerate others. Maybe a few hundred meters from the water's edge, they might give way or allow another male to maybe be present, but you come towards their water, there's going to be a problem. I've seen some intense hippo battles, churning water, and the water goes red from blood, and I would not want to be a part of that. Thank you very much. I was in Kruger a few months ago, and I think it was at Orpen Dam, which is surprisingly not very close to Orpen Gate. If anyone goes looking for Orpen Dam or Orpen Gate, it's not there, as I have discovered several times before I worked out where it was. And it was a young hippo. Can't have been more than maybe 4 or something. Seriously scratched up, covered in scars and scratches. I can only assume being forcibly asked to depart the area by others that were there. Let's go back across to Nguma. This hippo looks pretty peaceful here in his pan. Nice to see. Without being disturbed. Giraffe in the shadows of the tree there. Is he finding something to eat up there? What's he doing? It looks like is he licking that bark? I can't quite see if he's licking something though, or he's just ruminating up there in the shade. I'm just gonna. No, I think he's just ruminating there. I thought for a minute it was licking the bark. No, okay, he just happens to be standing there and chewing. But it is amazing some of the things we get to see on these cameras though, things that we would never otherwise have an opportunity to observe. And this is what I enjoy about nature, about the bush so much, is you never stop seeing new things, you never stop learning, you're always challenged. And I guess there's no reason he wouldn't be standing there to ruminate as opposed to anywhere else. I just want to watch though. I'm not sure, am I missing something here? Giraffe's just one of the incidental mammalian pollinators, often feeding on knobthorns. Doing great work swapping the pollen from tree to tree on their foreheads, on those eyelashes. Everything has its place. Okay, yeah, still just. But what's he? Is he just? I think he's just ruminating. I'm just checking to see if he's not chewing or rolling something around in his mouth. Obviously, giraffes are known for chewing and chomping on. Well, not chomping. Sucking on bones. And it almost looks like he's rolling something around in his mouth there. But maybe it's just a big ball of chewable cud. Getting ready to continue the digestive process through their system of stomachs, or their chamber of stomachs, or stomach chambers, depending on how you want to phrase it. Oh no, I just think he's chilling there. Just chewing the cud, which is where that phrase comes from. Group of friends sit down and chew something over, chewing the cud. This is what this boy is doing, I think. I'm still sat with this insect book. Oh, it's coming to that time of year again where all of the insects and arthropods and everyone starts emerging, and we start seeing more and more activity with the arrival of the rains. And every year, I've forgotten what everything was. There was a longhorn beetle on my arm last night, and he was hissing as I gently removed him outside. And I had forgotten that longhorn beetles hiss. Let's go across to Mahadi, Missouri, up there in the Mara, see what we have got happening. While this lovely big giraffe Sorry, that was... Sorry about that, everyone. We just had a couple of technical concerns there. Apologies. But we are back, and we are going to go across to Aldonio. If you needed more evidence that we are indeed live and interactive, there we go. I still think it's incredible that we get to see what we do from so many different areas. Back at Aldonio with our fringed-eared oryx. So please, yes, engage with us where or however you would like to. We are most definitely live for the 2 hours of this show. So please get in touch on X, on Facebook, using Instagram, YouTube, or indeed via WhatsApp. We will get through as many questions and comments as we can. We've got about 45 minutes left of the show, hopefully without any more technical hitches. But it does stun me that this is even technologically possible to watch fringe-eared, I believe, or East African oryx drinking with some Grant zebra from Aldonio. Those horns, they still make me a bit twitchy. I've never actually seen anyone injured with them, but you just think it's asking for trouble having those. They're just mad. It never ceases to amaze me. The designs of nature. Jan, you're saying you find the chewing of cud so fascinating. You and me both, Jan. Yeah, it's amazing. Firstly, the chewing of cud as a symbolistic discussion of what people digestive process of absorbing as much nutrients as possible from not much vegetation. I remember a couple of years ago I got very enthralled by the actual mechanisms of ruminant digestion, and I started but the trouble is I forget. I spend ages researching things, and then unless I recap them regularly, my information retention isn't what it used to be, let's put it that way. I have to practice things regularly for them to, wow, that zebra at the back there looks heavily pregnant. But how sort of, I know there's 4 different stomachs or section of the stomach, amassum, abomassum, reticulum and rumen, but I got really interested in, how does, like, the mechanisms of how the actual foliage passes between those areas, and is it filtered or... Oh, it seems we've lost Aldonio again. Apologies, but we are back at Jackie's. We have a few Sunday gremlins in the system today, I think. But yes, I did extensive research around the actual, how does, when an animal swallow, how does the food know to go to different places, and is it moved through muscularly, and how do the muscles know when the food resource should be moved to a different area? Yeah, it's fascinating stuff. Let's go back across to Serengeti and see what we've got happening. That's actually a lovely camera up there. Looks like there's a few clouds building in this area. I'm looking out the window. We're not a million miles away from Jackie's, and my weather app does actually suggest that there may be some rain forecast for this afternoon. Oh, this elephant's having a lovely scratch on his tree. You'll often find elephants, or all animals, have a preferred scratching point around waterholes. You find these rubbing posts smoothed down from a sandpaper texture. And someone asked a while ago, how come animals don't get splinters? And I thought that was a really interesting question. Often they rub on bark, but when the bark's gone, it's wood, and maybe they would occasionally.
My name is Amy, and behind the camera with me is Paul. And I mean, to be able to share it with all of you. Fingers crossed, and I'll make sure I wear my lucky leopard socks as well.
Oh, even a hyena coming into the action as well now. Oh my word! She's stalking the hyena now. Leopard, hyena, lion, all together in one shot. Oh. Woo! This is action-packed.
Would you like to know what an elephant's favorite food is? You could ask me questions like that in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive from the heart of Africa. The Fortunas over here. Watch Safari Live and connect with nature.
The bush, full of beauty, wonder, and absolute chaos. And now, all that madness has its own show. It's called a Wild Bush Week. The countdown of the most outrageous, heart-stopping, and sometimes downright ridiculous wildlife moments of the week. Lions throwing their weight around. Hyenas gate-crashing the buffet. Leopards doing, well, leopardy things. Each week, it's a fresh reel of safari gold. A mix of drama,
She's just got an impala, everybody.
danger, and a healthy dose of laughter. So, if you fancy a highlight show with bite, and I don't mean just the animals, tune in to a Wild Bush Week. You bring the tea, and we'll bring the tusks, tails, and teeth.
We hear lots of cuckoos here where I am. There's only one. Is it the common cuckoo? That actually sounds like he's going cuckoo. But we have many, many cuckoos here, Chrissy. Let's go across to Oldonio. But yeah, we're very fortunate. We hear many cuckoos here in my area. I think, I'm going to guess, like maybe up to 8 cuckoos. Any of them very all completely different calls. But only the one, is it the African cuckoo or the common cuckoo? I can never remember. But we don't hear any of them here that goes cuckoo like the cuckoos do in the UK. I'm actually gonna check that. So I think, let me check if this is correct. I think it's the common cuckoo, but they don't call lots of their migrant birds. We are back to our fabulous hammercop. Let's see if he catches something while we're watching. I'm just having a look at this African cuckoo to find out if this is the cuckoo you hear there in the UK that does that very typical cuckoo. No, it's not the common cuckoo because that's an inter-African migrant. Clues in the name, I guess. African cuckoo. Common cuckoo, let's check him. Okay, this common, I think it was this common cuckoo. See, this is when you need these zebras to line up at this Serengeti, this pan here in the Serengeti. Get some gorgeous reflections on that. Okay, the common cuckoo is also silent in South Africa. We're just going to go back across to Jackie's there briefly, and we're going to try and get some of these feeds back for you. There's definitely Sunday gremlins in the system today, and I am going to continue doing some research on this common cuckoo here. I think it's this common cuckoo. They don't call in South Africa, but this says calls loud, unmistakable cuckoo. Yeah, so that sounds about right. But frustratingly, I'm also reading here there's a grey morph male, a grey morph female, and a rufous morph female. And I do not have this common cuckoo. Wow, a subspecies of this common cuckoo. Wow. I'm going to try and say that it's a subspecies, but who is this that got me stuck into these cuckoos? UK Chrissy, this is your fault that I've ended up in here, in the addles of the cuckoos. Okay, so your UK species of cuckoo is a subspecies of Cuculus canaris is your cuckoo, UK Christie. That's not an easy sentence. The Cuculus canaris is the cuckoo in England, UK Christie. There we go. And here's the cuckoo that goes cuckoo. So we don't hear him here at all, but we have got other cuckoos. That was a very confusing thought process I just dug myself into there, so let's come out of that very quickly. Boysons, you are asking why zebra are spooked so easily by any movement. Because they might get eaten by things, Boysons. Most of these prey species are very sensitive to movement, very sensitive to sound, because something might grab them and eat them. Excellent eyesight normally, excellent hearing. It's how most of them manage to survive. If they were not cautious, they would be far more likely to be predated upon. So that is why zebras are spooked so easily. Horses are as well, for the record. Any horse riders out there? You have probably been on a horse that sees lions around every single corner and in every single bush. Let's go across to Moella. I think we have our feeds back across there. And I've just had a fact about hammercops sent through, which I have not heard before. Wow, okay, elephants abound here at Moella. Facts about hammercop. Up to 10 hammercops gather for bizarre ritual displays, running in circles while shrieking, flapping wings and raising crests. They top it off with false mounting, where one bird climbs on another, often not even mates, and pretends to copulate without anything actually happening. It's like an avian flash mob gone wrong. I've got no idea who has sent this hammercop fact across. It may be FC, it may be from someone that is watching. It's not something I have ever heard of, but I'm sure there is a very good reason for it. But I'm not sure if we would know what it is. Oh, wow. Someone else has just... Oh, from Jared. Thank you very much. That's lovely information. It sounds fascinating to watch. I do know that birds sometimes participate in something called lek behaviour. And it's males gathering, and I distinctly remember who I had this discussion with. It was actually another guide. I'm not sure if they're listening, but if they are, they will know who it is, about lek behaviour. And it's basically males showing off, surrounded by a group of females, and it hit home to me somewhat. So yeah, that maybe it's that, maybe it's just a sort of general performance to grab everyone's attention. But that sounds fascinating. Jared, thank you for sharing avian flash mob updates. Or maybe it's gone right. I don't know about gone wrong. It sounds like it went brilliantly. And also thank you very much, Bundu. There were wild dogs at Tau this morning. Lovely. Well, I was going to say lovely when those dogs do show up at that waterhole. It's not lovely for the animals there because they often used to hunt there. Whether or not they still do, I'm not sure. But always very cool to see those African wild dogs wherever it may be. And so nice to be able to peacefully watch them from a camera rather than attempting to anticipate their movements or even try and keep up with them in a vehicle. They really do move incredibly quickly and are very easy to lose, those dogs, especially when they're hunting. I almost want to try and top that fun fact about hammercops now with something else. I think it's either for rose or spotted eagle owls that are quite frequently found nesting. Spotted eagle owls will often nest on the top of those lovely big hammercop nests, save themselves some effort. I don't think I knew this. I know hammercops do feed on frogs, but this piece of information I've just found here says they almost feed exclusively on platanas and their tadpoles. I don't think I knew that. I think it's the platanas that aren't particularly vocal. I don't think I knew that they almost exclusively fed on platanas. See, this is why I enjoy doing this. I never would have thought about a hammercop's favourite frog if I wasn't doing this right now. Oh, let's check. I'm getting lost trying to find interesting facts about handcuffs now. Let's stop doing that. Look at the zebra waiting patiently here to try and get a look in at Moella. It looks like there's more. This water has increased in size. I think this inlet must be pumping at the moment. I'm sure this, when we first started the show 90 minutes ago, that this puddle was smaller. And could be why these elephants have arrived. Nicely. As we know, elephants are rather partial to that lovely, nice, clean, clear, fresh water. Excuse my puff back in the background. See, in this scenario, these elephants are sharing quite nicely. as they start shoving each other out of the way. Let's go back across to Serengeti. Ah, lovely. It's amazing how 1 minute there's nothing and then you come 2 minutes later and the baboons have arrived. Absolutely fantastic. Jet, thank you for joining us there from the Netherlands. You are very welcome. You love seeing the zebras and the elephants. In 2 weeks you're in South Africa. Awesome. Jet, I'd love to hear where you are visiting and how long you are visiting for. I hope you're going to be seeing plenty of zebras and elephants while you are here. Possibly bring your, well, I suppose it depends where you're going really, but maybe bring a waterproof. I know I said earlier we had a glorious cloud burst. We're just going to pop across to Jackie's once more. We're just doing a little bit more tinkering with these feeds. Apologies for these technical bits and pieces we've got going on today. So we're going to spend a little bit of time at Jackie's, and I'd love to hear where Jet is visiting in South Africa, or indeed if anyone else has any visits planned to South Africa or any other areas in Africa. But maybe this is your opportunity if you are visiting South Africa, certainly the Lowveld area anytime soon. Please feel free to ask me questions. If you'd like some advice about the weather, what you may or may not see while you're here. What's that? I had no idea what that was then. That's a guinea fowl on a mission. That was a very quick entrance and an equally quick exit there. Thanks for joining, guinea fowl, albeit brief. But yeah, if anyone is visiting anytime soon, if you would like any advice on weather or what to wear, certainly through the Lowveld, then let me know. It's lovely when people visit these amazing locations after having seen these cameras.
This is an unbelievable afternoon.
At At Wild Earth, we believe every story has the power to create change. That's why we've launched the Wild Earth Impact Foundation, a non-profit dedicated to conservation and social impact. By showcasing conservation stories, we can change lives, protect nature, and empower communities. We have partnered with Empowers Africa to accept tax-deductible donations from US donors. Your donation will help fund critical programs that support our mission. Join us and be part of the change.
Do you want to know why impala are the most common antelope we find here in the Kruger National Park? You can ask me questions like this in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live. Connect with nature.
There's some ellies that we're approaching now.
The light on her as well is absolutely gorgeous.
So we are going to enjoy the rest of this sunset.
Wow, 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 this is absolutely crazy.
And thank you for joining us. For myself and Cam, we will see you next time.
I would certainly love to go and visit some of these places where some of these cameras are based. I haven't been too far across Africa. I've spent most of my time in South Africa. I did a good chunk of my training in Botswana. I've been to Namibia a couple of times, but never into Etosha. Been to Rwanda, Malawi. I spent some time doing some training there in Malawi. Very special place, Malawi. I actually spent a couple of weeks in Tuma Forest doing some training with some of the rangers there in to advance a bit of guiding there. I was very fortunate to be able to spend some time with some amazing people there in Tuma Forest. Little bit of time in Zimbabwe. I've been to Vic Falls. I think I put 2 feet across the bridge for 5 minutes and back out again. There is so much to explore. I have many, many things on my list. There we go, there's our lined up zebra with some reflection. Thank you for participating, zebras. I feel like we've been seeing a lot of zebras. Lots of zebras lately on these cameras, but heavily water dependent, so that probably would explain why we are seeing them so regularly. Zebra's got quite a broad bud. Oh, excuse me, I sneezed. quite a broad band of white across its chest. This one on the left here, when he lifts his head up again, it almost looks like someone forgot to draw a stripe in there. A really, really nice way to spend a couple of hours though. Just to take some time, sit back and observe. Boyson, nice demonstration of just exactly how twitchy these zebras are, but maybe they were done. They've had a nice long drink here. Off to see if they can find some grass somewhere. As our zebras move off to their grazing sites for the day, let's go back to El Donio and see if our oryx have managed to push past all of those. We've got elephants here. I feel like we haven't seen elephants here for a little while. Normally they were the only visitors, but look how everyone else has vanished. And look, see that elephant on the left there, that looks like, doesn't he look like he's got longer front legs? I often find that in the younger bulls, it looks like they're still growing into their legs. And there will be some sort of hierarchy here. But not done normally with pushing and shoving. Just a respectful body language communication. We did have a beautiful interaction here not long ago. Oh, look at this boy, he's got one tusk. That older gentleman at the back there. Mike, you are asking how big can their ears get? They look huge. I checked measurements on elephants' ears a while ago, and I think it was up to 1.3 meters long or something. I actually went away and checked, but they're huge areas. They're very important on elephants for heat exchange or temperature regulation. Much thinner skin on their ears than lots of other body parts, and that fanning acts like a cooling system, fanning those ears as that blood moves through their ears to try and keep them cool. That increase in surface area is very important, and it's one of the important roles that those ears play.
This unfolds in front of you.
What does it take to handle the wild? Balance. Determination. Focus.
Yaku!
And gear that can take a beating so you don't have to.
Would you like to know at what age a buffalo calf gets its horns? These are questions that you can ask me in real time. Our safaris are live and interactive here in the heart of Africa. Join me on Safari Live and connect with nature.
Oh, she's gonna catch it.
Come on, Tommy! Watch this, we're about to see a kill.
You can see how close he is from where I am.
How cool is this?
Are any duplicates? I suppose by law of averages, there's going to be some that are the same. But I couldn't tell you how often. I believe if you took all of these zebra that are in this shot and checked all their patterns, I believe they're all going to be different just by a law of averages. But I suppose if you check long enough, you might find some that are the same. I have never read any scientific or published research around how that fact has been established, but maybe I will, Jasmine. There we go. There's my homework for the day. Check zebra stripe science comparisons. And that is, for me, Jasmine, the only way to some of the only things that I completely trust are peer-reviewed papers these days, or books. And even it's starting to be some of the books are wrong as well now, because science is advancing so incredibly rapidly. If you publish a book 1 year, then 4 years later or 3 years later or less, someone's discovered a new DNA sequence or someone's seen a new behaviour. I think I saw something the other day that someone believed they'd seen twin kudus, I think it was. And there was a book published that said it had never been recorded before. And then, if you're reading a book, I don't know whether or not they've completely established that they were twin kudus. I don't know if the only way to do that would be DNA testing. It's all very complicated now. Okay, lovely. Whoever's just sent me this. Genetic and embryological research. Stripe formation starts in the womb, driven by genetic factors that control melanin distributions in the skin. Subtle variations in these genetic processes ensure that each zebra develops a slightly different pattern, even among siblings. That I believe to be true. And the chances, I suppose it would just come to chance. I suppose, does every single human in the entire world, billions of us, all have completely unique fingerprints? They say we do. But yes, that would make complete sense. There are just too many variables in these stripe patterns for two to be exactly the same. So many questions from today, and so few answers. But that is the way I like it, to be honest. I will definitely be going away and seeing how many published papers there have been on zebra stripe comparisons. And again, you've got those genetic variations across different countries or different areas. Those shadow stripes, the length of the stripes. There's so many variables. Hannah, yeah, it's a pleasure. Thank you for a wonderfully diverse, if zebra heavy show. It's a pleasure, Hannah. We apologise for those technical glitches we had earlier. This is Africa and we are live. But it's an absolute pleasure to have spent the last couple of hours with these cameras, and indeed with anyone that has joined us. Please do enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I will be back tomorrow, technology allowing, to do some more cruising around these fabulous images from right around Africa, up to 45 cameras. Thank you all so much for being here. We hope to see you tomorrow. Until then, keep watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.